in Kathopanishad that the senses are made especially for seeing external objects, not for seeing internal objects. So only dhira, those who are very brave, very resolute, those who are very much absorbed in bhakti, they can actually see, they can, one who desires liberation, what kind of liberation? Liberation in the form of love of Krishna. They can become separate from their ears and other senses. They can separate their senses from external objects, and they can see Bhagavan. So this is Bhakti Yoga. Even impersonalists, like Buddhists for example, they understand the senses, usually they're associating with the sense objects. So one form of meditation, they meditate on, they separate the ears, for example, they separate the ears from sound, and they just concentrate on the ear, or on the sense of hearing. And then they separate the sense of hearing from the person who's hearing. And in this way they concentrate their mind. This is impersonal. It's very, very difficult. I know because I tried. Just sitting by a waterfall and concentrating on the sound of water so long. Very difficult. So, because there's nothing particularly attractive in the sound of water. But if we're hearing about Krishna's Nam, Rup, Gun, Lila from those who actually realize, then naturally we can be attracted to these things. This is attractive. And the more we're hearing, then we'll actually have some realization, and more, the senses, the mind, will actually become attracted to transcendental personalities. In this way we can progress in bhakti. Then Brajanath says, so who is this? In Raso Vaisaha, who is this? Who is this who's being called Raso Vaisaha? Who is being called the embodiment of bliss? And Babaji Maharaj, he quotes a verse, he recites a verse in Gopal Chakani Upanishad. In general, most of the Upanishads, they don't refer so much to the form, pastimes and so on of the Supreme Lord. And certainly there's not that much reference to Krishna himself as the Supreme Lord. There is reference. It's described in one of the other Upanishads that he's a cowherd boy, sometimes he's wearing one kind of costume, sometimes another kind of costume, he's herding the cows. So there are references. But in general, it's difficult to find. However, in Gopal Chakani Upanishad, there's a very, very full description of Krishna himself, Brajendrananda Krishna, as the Supreme Lord. And here, in Gopal Chakani Upanishad, it's described, his dress is like that of a cowherd boy. His eyes are like a fully blossomed white lotus. The color of his body is blackish blue like monsoon clouds. He wears a brilliant effulgent yellow cloth. With his two graceful arms and hands, not four, two, which are held in Jnana Mudra, the pose indicating divine knowledge, he holds his vanshi, his flute. His neck is made beautiful with a garland of forest flowers that reaches to his feet, and he's standing beneath the Kalpavriksha, a Vishnu tree. That Sri Krishna is the Lord of all. Banamanina Ishvara. So this Krishna, with his beautiful transcendental form, not material form, beautiful transcendental form, is stated in the Upanishads that he's actually the Supreme Lord. So then Brajanath says, okay, now I've understood. Like when Sri Ramananda Roy and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was inquiring, what is the supreme perfection? And Ramananda was indicating with shlokas, and he was giving those moods to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was accepting these moods one after another and relishing them. Tasting. Okay, it's something else. And then Ramananda Roy is giving something else. Mahaprabhu is tasting. Something else. Like this. So here similarly, Brajanath is asking Babaji Maharaj, and Babaji Maharaj is raising his consciousness. At the beginning of this chapter, Brajanath is like Mayavadi, not Mayavadi, reformed, a recovering Mayavadi scholar. And Babaji Maharaj is giving him information, but he's also giving him ras. He's giving his realization straight to the heart. And Brajanath's consciousness is becoming transformed. Later on in Jayavadharma, we read how Vijay Kumar, he's inquiring from Babaji Maharaj, not from Babaji Maharaj, from Dhyan Chandra Goswami. Different aspects of ras. And as Dhyan Chandra Goswami is explaining, giving these things, so he himself becomes absorbed, overwhelmed in these aspects of ras. So now Brajanath asks, okay, now I've understood. Krishna is Nityasiddha Sarup. He's eternal Sarup. He's all powerful. He's the object of ras. If you practice eightfold yoga, you can only realize his partial manifestation as Paramatma. Yogis do not realize Krishna. Pretend to Krishna means Ashtanga Yoga. Nirvishesh Brahma is, but that's only his body and luster. But how can we obtain him? Because his nature is inconceivable. What can we rest our mind in? What can we meditate on? This question, Brajanath's asking. So what is the process? What is the way in? Upanishads are describing the absolute truth as inconceivable. Not formless, but its form is transcendental. It's beyond the power of the mind and senses to understand. So how we can grasp it? So Babaji Maharaj, he quotes Katha Upanishad. He says that only a wise person can see Paramatma within himself. He can get peace, nobody else. So Brajanath says, okay, I understand that. I understand that I can only get peace by realizing Paramatma within myself. But how do I do it? What's the process? He's reached the state of eagerness that now I want to know the process. How can I realize this Supreme Lord? So then Babaji Maharaj says, Nayanatma pravachanena namedayana bahudarshitena yamevaishe vrunitena labhyas tasyaisha atma vivrunite tanasya. This Supreme Lord, you can't get him by so much pravachan, so much lectures, so much studying of the scriptures. He's talking to Brajanath, who previously was a great logician. He defeated everybody in Navadvip. Even one other logician, he practiced tantric arts in order to kill Brajanath because he was so fed up of being defeated. But just at that time, Brajanath, he heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his mind was changing. So when this tantric prayed to Durga, so her voice said, don't worry, Brajanath, he's going to stop. You'll be safe. You can come out of your house without anxiety. He won't meet you on the street and defeat you in the street. So Brajanath, previously he was a logician. And Babaji Maharaj is saying, you can't get him through logic, you can't get him through lectures. Only one whom he recognizes, only by his transcendental mercy, can this be gained. And then he quotes also from Srimad Bhagavatam. Atapike deva padambujadvaya. Shri Gopinathacharya, he quoted this verse to Sarvabhaumacharya. Sarvabhaumacharya is saying, you sentimental. Actually, they had a very friendly relationship. Gopinathacharya, his brother-in-law of Sarvabhaumacharya. And he was very firm, fixed up, associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, Gopinathacharya, he came as Baladev Vijayagoswami Prabhu. Because he heard these conversations between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhaumacharya. So he knew all arguments against Mayavad philosophy, completely conversant with philosophy. And then later he appeared as Baladev Gusa and became such a great scholar. So Gopinathacharya, he's talking to Sarvabhaumacharya. Sarvabhaumacharya is saying, you're sentimental. You're saying this saint, this person who fainted in Jagannath Puri temple, that he's the Supreme Lord. But don't you know the Supreme Lord is known as Triyuga? Don't you know he doesn't appear in Kali Yuga as an avatar? There's no avatar. Don't you know? And Gopinath Charya says, don't you know that actually he comes as hidden avatar?